Whenever you get a chord chart or a piece of music, it is going to have a progression of a few of these notes. A lot of worship music will usually have 4 chords that go in between each other and sometimes switch up. And so I'm just going to give you a chord progression that I like personally, and you guys can practice with this. So we are going to play a 1, 5, 6, 4 chord progression. Now that is 1, 5, 6, 4. And what I am referring to is where your thumb is placed. Is your thumb on the first note, the second note, the third note, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh? So we're going to play 1, 5, 6, 4. In the key of C, just as we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it is no trick. That is what we are referring to. So we, with just notes, would go 1, and then we would go to 5, which is G. And then we would go to 6, which is A. And then we would go to 4, which is F. So if we just play it in notes, it's 1, go up to 5, go up to 6, go down to 4. Okay? But when you add chords, it becomes a little bit different because you're not only concerned about the one note, you're concerned about these other 2 notes that are in each chord as well. You have to decide, if you go back to the previous video and look at what is major and what is minor between 1 and 7, you have to decide which of these are major and which are minor. I will give you a moment while I play them to figure that out. Here's 1, here's 5, here's 6, and here's 4. Okay? Pause the video, figure out if they are major or minor. If you guess that 1 is major, you are correct because it has 3 and then 2 standing up. Move your thumb until it's at 5. If you guess that 5 is major, you are correct. It goes 3 and then 2. Now we move our thumb up to 6. And if you guess that 6 was minor, you are correct. It goes 2 left up and then 3 left up. And then we move our thumb down to 4, which if you guessed was major, you guessed correctly. It goes 3 left up and then 2 left up. Okay? So we have 1 is C, 5 is G, 6 is A, and 4 is F. Now, to beef up your chords, we add bass notes. But in the bass, we aren't playing chords. In the bass, we just are playing the root note. And so the root note is whatever number is on your page. And so you're going to play in your bass just the note of 1, 5, 6, and 4. Or just the note of C, G, A minor, and F. You aren't going to play the whole chord. You only play the note in your bass. And in your top hand, you play the whole chord. If you're confused on what your bass and what your non-bass or treble is, your bass hand is your left hand because it's on the lower end of the keyboard or piano. And then your treble hand is your right hand because it is towards the higher notes of the keyboard or piano. So we have 1 is C, and we play in our bass, we play C as well. So C. And then we move our thumb up to G, and then we move to 6 or A minor, then we move down to F or 4. Now there's one more interval that is now present, and the interval that's present is an octave interval. An octave is where you go from your first note all the way back to your first note and you skip everything in between. The notes that are skipped in between are, it looks like 11 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you make an octave. And an octave is where you go from one C to the next C. So an octave from D would be from that D to the next D. And you can do this all the way up your keyboard. This is an octave interval, or every octave means 8 because it's 8 legs, and this is playing a trick because it's talking about the white keys. From white key to white key, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But that's more confusing than to just know you play C and then you play the very next C. Okay? Now, we're going to play an octave in the bass now, and we're going to play the same chords in our top hand. So we play a C chord in our top hand and an octave bass C. So C, 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 E, and G. Ready? We're going to move our octave up to 5 or to G. We're going to move our thumb up to G and rebuild our chord here on the white keys. So it should be G, 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 B, and D. We're going to move our octave just up 1, because from 5 to 6 is just 1. And so we move it up here, and then we move our thumb up and rebuild our chord on the white keys. So you should have A, C, and E. And then from 6 to 4, if you know your math, 6 minus 4 equals 2. So we're going to move down 2 with our thumb and with our octave to play F, or the 4 chord, and build our chord on the white keys. So you should have F, 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 A, and C. All together, it sounds like this.